Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nether Update. Today, guys, we're taking a look at the first Minecraft snapshot for the Nether Update, Minecraft 1.16. And, man, there are a lot of things that have changed. There's crazy fossils everywhere. There's blue fire. There's whatever this block is. Looks like it's basalt. There's soul soil, in addition to the soul sand we already have in the game over here. Man, a lot of stuff to cover today, so let's go ahead and get started. So obviously being the Nether update, a lot of major changes happened to the Nether, and yeah, you can see right here we are actually in a new Nether biome. This is the Soul Sand Valley biome, and this is mostly made up of large areas of soul sand and soul soil. So you can see right here, this is soul sand right here. And those are new sounds, by the way, for the soul sand. Right there. And then we have the soul soil, which has a lot different pattern on its face. And they also have a lot of different properties. So first of all, you can't light soul sand with the flint and steel, but you can light the soul soil. And if you light the soul soil on fire, it becomes a nice blue flame. If I go ahead and go into survival mode, you'll see it does indeed catch me on fire, although the flames are not blue, which is a little bit strange. Let me just quickly switch to creative before I'm killed by ghasts, of which there are a lot, so you have to be aware of that. Also, you might notice around here there are some skeletons that spawn in. So skeletons can spawn in the Soul Sand Valley biome. They can spawn on soul sand and also on soul soil. So yeah, this is both soul sand and soul soil here. You'll also notice around here in certain areas there are bone blocks. So there's big fossilized remains of long past creatures. And there's also these big pillars everywhere. And these are actually pillars of basalt. So if I get down here, you can see the basalt block a little bit better. So that is what the basalt block looks like. A few more things about the Soul Sand Valley biome. You can actually harvest the soul soil just by simply using a shovel like so. So that's a good way to get the soul soil. And you can actually use this soul soil in a couple of recipes. So first of all, the soul fire torch is made using coal, stick, and soul soil. That gets you your soul fire torches, and it looks like that. So yeah, just a torch, but with the blue hue, similar to the fire that we've lit over there. Also, the torches themselves here can be made into soul fire lanterns. So just the soul fire torch surrounded by iron nuggets gives you the soul fire lantern, and that's just a lantern with a bluish hue to it. So yeah, a couple new items you can make from the soul soil here in the Soul Sand Valley. By the way, it's worth noting that this blue fire does not burn items. So if I just go ahead and toss this in here, you can see my items are actually in the fire right now, but they're not being destroyed. So I can come in here, pick them back up. That may or may not be a bug, because it does indeed burn the player if you walk through that fire. So we'll see if that's a bug or not. Also, almost forgot to mention, you can find a new block called Crimson Roots in the Soul Sand Valley biome, and more on that in just a moment. The next biome we're going to take a look at is the Warped Forest biome. So you can see the Warped Forest biome right here, although we're not quite in it. And I wanted to show you, watch what happens when we cross this line into the Warped Forest to the background of the Nether. So right now it's like a turquoise or light blue. If we go ahead and move over here, now it's a deep dark blue or almost like a purple color. So yeah, quite a significant change in the background of the Nether once you traverse biome boundaries. So yeah, just be aware of that. Alright guys, so let's talk about the Warped Forest biome. So obviously besides the color of the background of the Nether changing, there's some other major changes in this biome. First of all, you can see these tree-like structures. These are actually called warped fungi. They make up the trees of the forest, and they also have like lighting in them. So you can see, if I retrieve this block, you can see we have some shroom lights, which are a new source of light in the game, as you can tell right there. So that's that. Also, you can harvest the trees themselves, or the fungi themselves. So if I just use an axe here, see, I can harvest this, and this is actually called warped stem. So this is like the stem of the fungi. And you can also strip this, similar to how you can strip logs in the overworld. So that's pretty nice. You can also make things out of these stems. So if I just grab a few more of these, just harvest a couple of these here, there we go. And then I'll get out my crafting bench. You'll see I can actually craft some planks of warped stems. So warped planks are a thing you can get, so I'll just grab a couple of these. And from there, I can make stuff like, you know, warped trapdoor, which looks like that. So yeah, it has a new design pattern on it. You can also make things like warp stairs. You can make warp fence gates like this, just like so. You can make, let's say we want to make, I don't know, let's say a warped pressure plate. You can do that. So yeah, pretty much everything you make with wood, you can make with warped stems. So in addition to all the wood stuff you can make with the warped stems, you can also do things like make sticks with the planks. The warped planks can make sticks, just like so. And there's also some other blocks around here that you can harvest. So for instance, like these blocks here, these are the warped wart blocks. So they're basically like nether wart blocks, except turquoise in color. So you can see that right there. So yeah, another new block that we have in the game here. And then we have a bunch of plants. So let's get to those next. Alright guys, so now on to the plants in this biome. So first of all, we have some warped roots right here. And they have a really cool sound when you place them down. Listen closely here. There you go. So warped roots are a nice plant in the warped forest biome. We also have some more crimson roots. So crimson roots are found in the warped forest, although not as plentifully as the warped roots, obviously, because it is the warped forest. We also have some of these smaller ones right here. And these are Nether Sprouts, so a very small variety of the warped roots. So that is pretty cool. We also have some new mushrooms. So if I get over here, punch this guy, you can see we have a warped fungi. And I want to see if we make some space here, or actually get somewhere else here, can we grow up a big mushroom from this? If I plant this down somewhere, I can't plant it down on the nether rack, but I can on this block here, which is the warped nylium, I guess is how you would say it, warped nylium. If I plant it on the warped nylium and then hit it with a couple of bone meal, yes, I can indeed grow a large warped fungi. So yeah, that is pretty awesome. So you can't plant those mushrooms on the netherrack, but you can on the nylium. So yeah, that is pretty cool. And the nylium, basically the same as netherrack, except it has like this carpet of what looks somewhat like mycelium, but in a turquoise flavor on the top. And it's only 1 block thick in this biome. But yeah, it makes it look quite interesting. So yeah, that is the warped forest biome. I'm just going to walk around here a little bit and see what else I can see in here, see if there's anything interesting. Obviously, there are some particles here as well that sort of swirl around you, so it gives sort of a mystic feeling to the biome itself. But yeah, that is the warped forest biome. So one interesting thing I've noticed about the warped forest biome is that it seems like only Endermen will spawn in this biome. So you can see there's an Enderman here, but no zombie pigmen. There's no ghasts that are spawning around here. There's another Enderman. There's more Endermen there. So I'm guessing that this warped forest biome can only spawn in Endermen. That is rather interesting. Also, just want to point out that from this warped forest biome, if we transition back into the quote-unquote normal nether as it stands today, yeah, with the classic red background, you can see other mobs start to spawn in immediately, pigmen, etc. start to spawn in, and also the sky background changes to the typical red. By the way, this sort of normal nether is now called nether wastes, so that's what the nether looks like now is called. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And if we get it back over here, yeah, you can see Enderman in here, and it's pretty much all Enderman in this warped forest biome. Interesting. Okay, so that is the warped forest biome. Let's see if we can find another biome. Alright guys, so we have another new biome here, the Crimson Forest biome. So you can tell, Crimson Forest, crimson background, much deeper and darker red than anywhere else in the nether. And this is similar to the warped forest, but different in a lot of unique ways. So first of all, the soil here is actually crimson nylium instead of the warped nylium we had in the warped forest. The fungi are actually crimson fungi, I guess. So we have some crimson stems you can mine out here. Look like this. So yeah, pretty important difference right there. If I go into this table here and type crimson, you can see, yeah, again, you can have the stripped crimson, crimson stairs, crimson trapdoors, etc. So yeah, that's what that stuff looks like right there. And there's what the trapdoor looks like. Now, interestingly, if I place down a crimson stem, like this, or a couple of them, we should see some fire develop here. Let's just put some stuff down like this. Let's see if we see some fire coming up. I saw some earlier. There. Yeah. And there. So, this is kind of interesting because this wood, or this stem block, doesn't really burn. So it turns out that both the crimson and the warped stem are fireproof. So yeah, they can catch on fire, and they can catch the block beside them on fire. But yeah, the wood itself does not, or the stem itself does not burn. And this also applies to the planks. So if I light the planks on fire, you can see these planks will just stay here. And yeah, no matter how long you wait, they will just not go away. So it's basically a form of fireproof wood with these warped planks and these crimson planks, which is pretty cool. So that led me to try out if you could maybe make a crimson boat, but that is actually not the case. Same thing with the warped planks. So the warped planks, you can't make a fireproof boat or anything, at least not yet. So we'll have to see if that comes in the future, and you can see, yeah, these blocks survived, and the fire has actually now gone out. So they can catch on fire, but they don't, they don't burn down. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, moving on now to some of the animals in this biome. We have ourselves the Hoglins. So the Hoglin beast, or just the Hoglin actually is what it's called, but it's sort of a beast-like creature with big tusks, got some eyes there, and it has a nice spine feature down its back, so that's pretty cool. If we go ahead and go into survival, you'll see Hoglins are sort of naturally passive, so they just sort of wander around. But let's see what happens when we hit one. Also, I'll just mention here, you'll see right here, I'm actually not hitting the Hoglin. That is because its hitbox is a little bit small right now. I'm guessing this will probably be increased in size in the future though, but that's why when I just punch like this, it doesn't hit the Hoglin. So let's just go ahead and remove the hitboxes and hit the Hoglin. Okay, so I hit the Hoglin, and nothing happens. Okay, so the Hoglins are not hostile. I wonder if, can I ride these guys? No, I cannot. Okay, so right now they are passive mobs which don't attack even when hit. And then there are also some other things. So for instance, these blocks here, these are simply some nether wart blocks. So there are now blocks of nether wart that grow in the world. We also have some more shrooms. So we got some more shroom lights that are available in this biome as well. Then we have some equivalent roots to the warped roots. These are the crimson roots, which you've seen in a couple other biomes. So crimson roots grow much more plentifully in this biome. And we also have a new mushroom, and that of course is the crimson fungi, which if I plant one down, and we can only plant that down on the ground block, which is the crimson nylium. So everything is basically crimson versus the warped, which is everything was warped. So if I grow this up with some bone meal, you can see, yeah, you can grow up some of those mushrooms into larger crimson fungi. By the way, I just want to mention that there are like warped fungi that grow here occasionally, but this warped fungi is not as common as it is in the warped forest. So you can still get these warped fungi, but yeah, just not as common in the crimson forest as it is in the warped forest. Finally, I want to talk about these, the weeping vines. So these vines are kind of unique. First of all, they will actually, from where you break them, they will actually drop all the vines, all the weeping vines below them. So if I break this at the top here, we should get this top weeping vine, this middle weeping vine, and this bottom weeping vine. And so yeah, you can see that right there. So yeah, pretty cool mechanic there. The other interesting mechanic is that you cannot place these on the sides of blocks. So if I try and place this on the side of the nether wart block, can't do it. Side of the crimson nylium, can't do it. Side of the nether wart, or another rack rather, can't do it. But I can place these on the underside of blocks, like so. So you see I can just plant these like this. And then we can actually plant these on the bottom as far down as we want to right there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Although it doesn't seem like you can climb these right now. So these are mostly aesthetic right now as far as I can tell. At least, yeah, it doesn't seem like you can do anything here with them. At least not yet. So yeah, kind of an interesting block. Have to be placed on the underside like so. But yeah, an interesting block nonetheless. There's also one more really cool feature of both Crimson and Warped Nillium that I want to show you guys, and that is that this can actually spread to netherrack blocks. So all you have to do is bone meal a netherrack block directly next to a Nillium block. So this is the Warped Nillium. So if I click this block with the bone meal, boom, you can see it changed to some Warped Nillium, and so I can just continue to bring this down. However, if the block is not touching the Nillium block, it won't work. So like this block right here, if I hit this with bone meal, nothing, because it's not touching another Nillium block somewhere. Same with this block right here, not touching, but this block is touching. So if I click here, this Crimson Nillium spreads this way. So I can just spread it like that, and then spread this down here. But yeah, that is kind of an interesting thing. It also does work vertically, one block. So this is touching here, so I can have that spread up. But if I wanted to have, let's say, this red spread 2 blocks vertically, doesn't work. But it does work on this bottom one if it's exposed to the air on the top. There you go. So yeah, Nillium spreading with bone meal and netherrack, a pretty cool feature. Next up, one of the most significant changes to the game in the past 8 years or so. I'm going to show you guys how to make netherite and netherite armor, which is actually armor and tools you can create which are better than diamond. That's right, better than diamond. So diamond is no longer the top tier of tools and armor. There is now something beyond that. So, yeah, how do we get this netherite? Well, first of all, we got to go down to the very bottom of the nether, and we need to find something called ancient debris, which presumably are like the ruins of past great civilizations. So I'm just going to fly down here, down this tunnel here, and here we see the actual block. So here's what ancient debris looks like right there. So that's the ancient debris block. Looks kind of like a piece of crumbling debris from a long forgotten building. So yeah, if we go ahead and switch ourselves to survival game mode, you'll see, yeah, you can't actually break this with a wooden pick. You can't actually break this with an iron pick. You have to use a diamond pickaxe to break through this ancient debris. And so if you do that, there we go. See, it drops as an item. Just pick it up right there. And now let's go ahead and make our way all the way back out. I'm just going to go into creative game mode for this because, yeah, takes a while to get down this hallway. But yeah, once you find a large amount of ancient debris, which is quite rare, it's actually very rare in the nether here. Once you find some of those, what you need to do is you need to grab a furnace or a blast furnace. I think you can use either one. So we'll grab a furnace here. We'll put the ancient debris in there, and let's get out just say a bucket of lava. Why not? So we're going to smelt up this ancient debris. And this ancient debris is then going to give us a piece of netherite scrap. And then once we have a bunch of this netherite scrap, we're going to combine it with some gold ingots right here. And that's going to give us our netherite ingots. So 4 netherite scraps, so you need 4 ancient debris, and you need 4 gold ingots. That gets you your netherite ingot. Now, at this point, you have a couple of different options. So, let's say you get a bunch more netherite. You can either make a block of netherite, which if I just go ahead and craft that up, you can see it's 9 netherite ingots. And that block looks like that. It has a really cool sound when you place it down. I also would like to point out that netherite has some pretty unique properties. So, if I go ahead and put down a whole bunch of TNT in here, let's say, just like this. So there we go, and yeah, that's good enough, I think. So if I go ahead and now explode this in this containment chamber of netherite blocks, just go ahead and do that. Yeah, you'll see the netherite took no damage. So every block of netherite is still here, and so that's pretty good. That means you can use it sort of like obsidian in that it doesn't get destroyed by TNT, but you can also move it. So netherite is actually movable. So we now have a movable and very blast resistant block in the game. So that's what the netherite block itself looks like. A really cool looking block, but also quite expensive to make. But that's the netherite block right there. So you can make those, or you can make netherite tools and armor. So if I go ahead and let's just get over here. Let's get out a diamond chest piece, let's say. So if I combine a diamond chest plate and one netherite ingot, I get a netherite chest plate. And you can see, compared to the diamond, this netherite chest plate is both tougher and it also has knockback resistance. So you see this does not have knockback resistance. So yeah, netherite armor, a lot better than normal armor. Now if I put it on here, you can see that's what the chest piece looks like. And of course you can also make netherite tools. So if I go ahead and put in a netherite ingot with a diamond pickaxe, you'll see I get a netherite pickaxe out. So that is pretty cool. So let's see how netherite tools and armor are much better than diamond tools and armor. So if we go ahead and take a look here, first thing that netherite is better at is enchantability. So if we put a netherite pickaxe in the enchantment table, given the same number of levels, you'll on average get more, or better rather, enchantments on netherite pickaxes than on diamond pickaxes. It's still not quite as good as gold tools, but gold tools are pretty much worthless because they have such low durability. So yeah, netherite being more enchantable is a big advantage. Also, you might notice netherite pickaxe has 2031 durability. Diamond pickaxe only has 1561 durability. So netherite pickaxes last longer. You can mine more out per pickaxe. So that is another advantage of the netherite pickaxe over the diamond. And that would be enough in and of itself to make it useful. But if we go ahead and go into survival, we will see that netherite tools are also faster. So let's just mine out with the netherite pickaxe right here. So you can see the speed we're going at here. Pretty quick. And if we compare that to the diamond pickaxe, not quite as noticeable, but yeah, the netherite is a little bit quicker. So yeah, netherite is actually faster than diamond tools. And also it does more damage. If we take a look at the swords here, you can see netherite sword does 8 attack damage. Diamond sword only 7, so you do more damage with this netherite sword than the diamond sword. So we already talked about how netherite armor has higher armor toughness and knockback resistance, but I wanted to demonstrate this here because this is kind of an important difference, especially if you're like on the edge of a cliff or something. So what we're going to do, I have my diamond armor on now, and I'm going to shoot myself with an arrow, see how much we get knocked back, see if we get knocked off of this block. So we're going to try and stand like right on the middle of this block, looking right at that pixel right there. Shoot ourselves, and we got knocked off. Alright, so now we're wearing the netherite armor, and we're going to look at the same pixel here. So we're on the same exact spot, same exact block, same exact arrows and everything. Shoot ourselves here, and you'll see we were not knocked off with our netherite armor because it has knockback resistance. So that's a big advantage in PvP especially. But there's also another advantage to this netherite armor, and that is if we throw our diamond gear in lava, obviously, you know, it's gonna burn, right? But netherite, we throw this in, voila, it survives. So if we throw these in, throw the helmet in, throw the pants in, it actually not only doesn't burn in lava, but it actually floats on top of the lava. So if I now make my way over here, see if we can get our gear back. So that's great in case you die in the nether and your stuff falls in lava. If you're wearing netherite gear like this, then your stuff will not be destroyed. So that's a huge advantage of netherite gear over lava. And the same thing with the tools. The tools also do not get destroyed. So if I throw my sword and my pick in there, they just float to the surface on fire, but still intact. How awesome is that? That is really cool. Alright, so that is netherite armor and tools. Better than diamond. There have been a lot of new sounds added in this update, which I just want to take a moment to show you guys. So first of all, we have a new sound for netherrack, and yeah, the sound has been turned up quite a lot, so if you hear something very, very loud, don't be surprised. So this is the new netherrack sound. Got a new sound for quartz ore. You've kind of already heard this one, but the new soul sand sound. There's a new nether brick sound. There's a new sound for nether wart blocks. And there's also a new sound for bone blocks. There was a useful command added this week, and that is the locate biome command. So if we go ahead and do /locate biome, you can see I can locate any one of these biomes, which makes it really useful when you're looking for a specific biome. So let's say I wanted to look for the Crimson Forest, let's say. I'll just go ahead and hit enter here, and yeah, nearest Crimson Forest biome is at those coordinates. I can click on that, and it tells me, or it teleports me rather, right to a Crimson Forest biome. And yeah, you can see that is indeed the case. So that is a very useful command for when you're looking for a specific biome and don't want to spend ages flying around searching for it. Another huge change is that all walls connected vertically will now have no gaps between them. So previously there were gaps in between blocks if you had a wall that was built up like this, but now, as you can see, there are no gaps. Nice and smooth across, and yeah, the wall is looking quite nice. So yeah, that applies to all walls as well. So like if I have a sandstone wall, same thing. No gaps in the wall, which is super nice. In addition to all the new stuff in the Nether, there are also some other important bug fixes in this week's snapshot. One such bug fix is that pistons will now no longer pop off blocks attached to their back while retracting. So, for instance, all these, they need a solid face to, not pop off. And yeah, now when I hit this button, you'll see they all stay on, whereas before they would have popped off and fallen as an item, which is great that it no longer does that. It also allows for some interesting stuff like this. So like I can just walk in here now and hold this pressure plate open with this piston arm still extended. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff I think you could do with some of this stuff. So yeah, that's kind of cool. The only thing it doesn't work with is redstone. So redstone still pops off when it extends. But pretty much everything else, banners and such, for instance, yeah, that'll still stay attached to the piston even when it extends and retracts. Another important bug fix is that redstone wire is now visible from below, so it now has a bottom texture, whereas before if you looked at it through glass like this, it would have been invisible. And also the flower pot now has its bottom texture visible, which you can see right there. Using a pickaxe on a piston will now break the piston faster than just using your hand. And this was not the case before. In fact, it had been like that for so long that people just assumed it was a feature. So, yeah, it's good that you can now break pistons faster if you're using a pickaxe rather than your hand. Endermites and silverfish will now no longer appear blackened in soul sand. Although you still can't sleep with monsters nearby, you can now reset your spawn point with monsters close. Composters will now display particles and make noise when fed by hoppers. There were a ton of other bug fixes in this week's snapshot, including great quality of life changes like XP orbs no longer crush turtle eggs. That's pretty good. And also, foxes will now run from polar bears if they're being chased. But those will be in the link in the description if you guys are interested. I do want to give you one final overview of all the new blocks added in this snapshot because it was quite a lot. So here are the warped forest blocks. So everything originates from this warped stem here, and you can craft up all these plank varieties and all these warped signs and warped doors and warped trapdoors. We also got the new shroom light, which is nice, and a new warped wart block, as well as new types of warped nilium with some new mechanics for spreading. And then, of course, the foliage over there. We also have the Crimson Forest blocks right here. Same type of deal. Comes from the Crimson Stem, and you can get all the other blocks from that. We have the Crimson Nilium right here, as well as the Weeping Vines, which are unique to the Crimson Forest, as well as the Hoglin being added to the Crimson Forest. Can't forget this guy. Kind of basic right now, but I'm sure he will have his mechanics fleshed out in the coming days and weeks. Then we move on to the Soul Sand Valley biome. Of course, we got the blue fire on top of the Soul Soil block. Then, of course, we also have the Soul Fire lanterns we can craft and the torches. And then we also have the new basalt block right here. So, yeah, that's looking like a pretty cool block, I think. We also have the Nether ancient debris right here, which can be smelted into the scraps and then finally into the ingots, which can be made into my personal favorite block so far in this update, the block of Netherite, which has a lot of different uses as we've seen, and can be used to make armor and tools, which are actually better than diamond. So Man, a lot of new stuff in this update already, and yeah, I'm sure more will be added in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Let me know what your favorite feature is so far and what you're looking forward to the most that may be coming in this update. But for now, that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Cub. Goodbye.